wanting to strive more in less time and to train up the power of focus. So let us begin the topic for today. Om Shanti, I'm Garret, yogi, life coach as well as spiritual enthusiast. So a lot of my works in this channel is to spread the words of love, light and positive message out to the world. So if you resonate with some of these contents, please make sure to show some love, hit like, subscribe and comment your learnings in the comment section to also reaffirm your learnings as well as to help others. So today's topic, let us head into it, is actually learning to strive to achieve more in less time, especially when it's pertaining to studies. Okay, so apparently this question came in from James today, and he's actually writing in regarding poor focus. Okay, so the question goes like this. Hi Garret, my name is James and I am a student. I often struggle in school due to poor concentration. It's like my mind just wanders all over the place thinking of stuff and I'm always distracted. Do you have any advice to help me with this? Thanks Garret. James. So James, first and foremost, thanks for writing in, and it's actually quite common that nowadays youngsters, basically when they see a book at the front of the table, they will just switch off. But nonetheless, you need to know what's your purpose and why you're particularly studying in school. So what's the objective? Is it for wanting to get a certification, or is it basically just wanting to get it over and done with, or is it purely wanting to please your parents? So what's the objective? What's the purpose behind going to school? If the objective is actually wanting for you to step up to the career that you want potentially, then I'm pretty sure you don't need somebody to motivate you to study hard to train your focus. Okay, but maybe let me share some tips with you in some way that you could potentially look up for whenever you're studying. Okay, so point number one, we need to understand that a student's life is only a preparatory stage. Okay, many students make the mistake of thinking that this is my one opportunity to enjoy as much as I can. School days, right? Happy days. I just need to go to school, finish my attendance, then I just need to go back home, then I play my computer games or I play my Xbox, my PS. Okay, but essentially not that. It's a preparatory stage for you in life. Okay, how you do something is how you do everything, you see. But later on, when they look back, right, if you were to start playing all the time, you start to look back eventually. The only thing that they will think is how much did they utilize those years. When you eventually grow up, this is the only thing, and you will most likely carry regrets with you if you don't perform well in school and you have not placed your best effort forward. And the only regret, right, you will receive is I had this golden opportunity for knowledge, for personality development, and I did not utilize it at that point. So this is the only regret that you will most likely find, you see. And so students need to actually consider this during the best years for actually training themselves for the later life when they actually enter into the arena of life, you see. Because life itself has imposed quite a lot of challenges in front. So as you're still being a student, still enjoying life right now, it gives you plenty of opportunity to train up your mindset, train up your personality, your attitude, so that when you go into the working world, you will start to be able to gel in really quickly, rather than you go into working world and you struggle, you see. So point number two, of course, results are something that we all aim in life. Okay, results are important, but you must remember that everyone, when pursuing certain results in life, right, they must also enjoy the process. Okay, because if it is all about just preparing some piece of knowledge, right, and vomiting it out on a results paper, right, and seeing what my grades are, and it becomes a very tremendous austerity, It's like as though you are wanting to complete a very difficult task where you are not drawn to do it, you see. But if they start valuing the process itself, right, and they try to enjoy the knowledge that they are cultivating, this effort actually goes a longer way, you see. Because if you're cultivating this within yourself, you are actually wanting to gain knowledge, like I mentioned earlier. It's not about wanting to just pass and get it over and done with, just wanting to please your parents. It's about gaining the knowledge so that this knowledge is applicable to you in the later years. Okay? And point number 3, respect for teachers. So if you name all these pointers, right, all these tips that I can give you right now, it will potentially help you in your personality, your character, attitudes. Like I mentioned, how you do everything is how you do something is how you do everything in life. Okay, essentially this is it. Respect for teachers. Sometimes students, right, have this mentality of making jokes about teachers and etc. Okay, especially youngsters these days, they don't have any respect for teachers. Okay, their lack of reverence affects their own reception of this knowledge that is actually they are receiving. If you don't respect somebody, how would you have the humility? Would you have the humble thinking, the mindset to take in information? Pretty much no, right? So this is essentially it. And if they keep in mind that there is a person who has learned and practiced for this subject for their whole lifetime, right, and that this person is willing to share that knowledge with me, with that kind of attitude, if they receive knowledge, right, the whole process becomes enjoyable and they got much more out of it, you see. And certain lecturers and certain teachers, right, they will be able to infuse some of the comedic elements into it. Some of them can create games in the way they teach. Some of them, they impose certain challenges. It's how these teachers actually blend their character of teaching in towards their teaching methods. Okay, so show respect to teachers because it's not an easy job, to impart certain knowledge into you. Okay, and actually talking about focus, right? Okay, we go down to the point of talking about focus. Focus is very much just like a muscle. Remember this. And just like you can develop your muscles just by exercising, focus can also be developed by repeatedly expressing it and actually just honing on it, you see. So how do you develop this laser sharp focus then? Many students, right, when they sit with a book in front of their mind, in front of their table, right, their mind just wanders, just like your case, I think. So the solution is actually quite simple, but requires practice. Okay, everything is simple, but it's not easy. Okay, every time your mind, right, starts to wander off, okay, learn to bring it back. It's just essentially that. Okay, every time it wanders off, you bring it back. Every time it wanders off, you bring it back. Okay, the more you do it, the more that muscle of focus will eventually develop, and then the better and better you will become. So it's not that amount of time that you actually spend studying, remember, but the quality of the time that you spend studying. Okay, so in a little time you could cover a lot if the focus is there, laser sharp focus. So the final tip is, right, always do it in the morning hours, and this is essentially the best time for you to study. Okay, when you wake up in the morning, right, your mind is essentially empty, and at that time, right, if you absorb that knowledge, right, it goes really deep in, and your focus is also great. But as you go through the day, right, the mind starts filling up with the world and it becomes that much of a struggle. Okay, the willpower weakens essentially. So when that weakens, right, you will not be absorbing as easy as you think it is. Okay, so the mind freshes in the morning, use it to do any task that is the most difficult. Nowadays, it has become most people's lifestyle that they study at night and they sleep late till in the morning. Okay, but if they can try out the other one, study in the morning, then you will find that your mind is more like a sponge during this process, and when it's sponge, it absorbs just so easily. Okay, so these are just some of the tips that I can give you as a student. Okay, because we all been through a stage of a student, so and we know how difficult it is. But nonetheless, keep training your focus, and when you train up your focus, you lessen your time studying. You have quality time when studying. So that's the most ultimate effect. Okay, so I hope you learned something from this video, and if you do, please make sure to share your comments and learnings in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit like, and also don't forget to support me on Patreon. I'm working on better contents in the future. Okay, thank you so much. Much love to you. Om Shanti.